doing research for this, I didn't realize how much you do, man. You do a hell of a lot. I was like, hold up. No, it's pretty cool, man.
Hey man, just out here serving, out here, getting to the bag, everything.
And we gotta hustle, man. You gotta hustle for it if you want to make it out here. What's up, everyone? This is Niyi Adewale, host of the Akabo Home Financial Freedom Mastermind Group. This group meets virtually every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, and the members of this group are committed to achieving financial freedom well before the traditional retirement age. So in this podcast, you are going to get VIP access to the conversations we have about different forms of investment and creative ways to get your dollars working harder for you than you originally worked to obtain those dollars. We are joined by Abdul Ajilore, who is a systems engineer turned serial entrepreneur that has dabbled in everything from real estate to credit repair to life insurance and wealth consulting. And it's just a wealth of knowledge, information, and life hacks. Abdul, it's a pleasure to have you join the Financial Freedom Mastermind Group, man.
Hey, I'm glad to be on here. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And first and foremost, just looking through your resume and doing some of the back research, it's pretty incredible all that you've been able to do and kind of keep on the same track. And I really want to take us back to the beginning before you started doing all these entrepreneurial pursuits and understand some of your motivations and some of your backstory. And so if you wouldn't mind, could you take us back to maybe like your high school and college years? Like what were you doing back then?
High school, college years, man. So I grew up in Nigeria, first of all. Came to the United States about 8 years now, 8 to 9 years now. And pretty much, taking back to high school, I was, I was one of those top kids in the class, obviously. Definitely, well, not obvious, but basically I was doing what I needed to do to get the best grades. And as you know, every African, like we're very adamant about like school. It's a big thing for us. So I just, followed the system, went through school, did what I needed to do. I wasn't like any troublesome or anything like that. I just, did what I needed to do.
Of course, of course. And one of the things that we talked about a little bit is the fact that you were able to develop a financial foundation even while you're in school and come and pull in some of that knowledge so that when you graduated, while others are trying to figure out, hey, how I'm going to pay this school debt down, how I'm going to get my first job, you were already investing. Could you just speak to some of the lessons that you learned throughout school and kind of how you pulled in some of that early financial knowledge?
That's big. That's big. Yeah. So, I mean, you already said a little bit about my background. As I came to the United States, I immediately went to college. I went to Morgan State University to study electrical engineering. And the big thing about electrical engineering for me was because I pretty much, while I was back at home in Nigeria, we didn't have good electricity. So it bothered me so much because each time I wanted to study, it was just a problem. Every time I wanted to like do something significant, I need power. I need constant power. So it's just crazy how like that basic amenity we don't have, and for me, that's what I studied, coming here now. So throughout school, went through school, all this stuff, went to electrical engineering courses, experience, internships, all these different things in school. But I knew one thing from school, right? I was reading a lot of books. I knew the only way you could advance is obviously reading, educating yourself from, all the wealthy people. That's all they say, like read, learn with your mindset, get your mindset right. And then the next thing is to start a business, right? So I knew I was going to start a business right from, school, like sophomore year of college or whatever. I just didn't know what to start, but I started diving deep into the wealthiest industry, the wealthiest industry that would literally could help you to start developing your own net worth and increasing your own net worth right from school, or right from after the age of 18. You're good to go, right? But so that's real estate. So immediately I started developing a lot of interest in real estate, understanding it, and also being able to leverage it for other future endeavors, right? So that was when I started getting into wholesaling. I started looking a lot deeper into it. Well, right when I was still in school, this was like junior year or something. I was looking into it, like wholesaling a lot. I was actually like going out and like looking at properties, taking pictures of, bad properties and looking at like, okay, if I can call this person, like how can I get their number? I was already doing all that back in school. So for me, I knew, okay, it was gonna be real estate, right? So by the time I graduated, before I graduated, while I was doing all this, gaining experience pretty much, I started going to meetups. One of the best things I did, right? I did for myself and what I would recommend for anybody, right? Meetups, any type of event, right? Any type of engagement where you meet other entrepreneurs or other people that have the same goal and vision. And so that was what, changed everything for me. So I went to a couple of meetups, real estate meetups, REIAs, that's what they call it, real estate investment meetups or association or whatever. So I started going to all those and I came across a gentleman and he said he wanted to sell one of his property. And then like just having a conversation, right? Just having a conversation. And he was just like, yo, I'm looking to sell. He saw that I'm still in school, still in college. I'm about to graduate. I was studying, he knows I was studying engineering and I'm about to graduate. So it was like, yeah, he can help me out. And we just help each other out, right? He sells his property to me. He gets it at, whatever price. I didn't even care about the price. That's the crazy thing. Now, at that point, you're just trying to get started. Like, you're just trying to get in the game. So I didn't even really care about the price. I was just like, look, just sell me something, right? So yeah, so that's how I got started. So he sold me this 2-unit property. I already knew it had to be a multi-unit because they'll tell, like, if you read a lot from all these investors, and they'll tell you first thing is if you don't want your home to be a liability, so you have to get 2 units. The one unit to pay for the other, and you live in the other. So that was my game plan. Yeah. So immediately he told me he was selling his 2-unit. I jumped on it and we made it happen. So immediately I graduated. Literally, I closed on my first property, the same day I graduated.
So you had the cap and gown and went right to the closing table?
Exactly. I did the cap and gown thing, and immediately that same evening before 5 p.m., I went to the closing table. So that was how that went. And that was my first property. And that's how I got started pretty much.
Abdul, that is pretty incredible. And I want to dive into a couple of things. One, the fact that you had the courage, right? While you're getting through school, you realize like, hey, these bills are stacking up. I got to go find a job, things of that nature. To go out and jump into a property when you did. I know now you're like, man, you're thanking yourself, but a lot of people get nervous about getting that first property and don't realize all the benefits that can come. So we're definitely going to dive into that. But one other piece that you mentioned is going to the meetups. That's exactly how I got started. Just immersing yourself around other investors and other people that speak the lingo and that may have something going on is an amazing way to continue to build the courage within yourself to invest and to keep going. I can tell you that's a lot of the reason why this group right here exists today, right? The Financial Freedom Mastermind Group. It was missing when I moved. I didn't go to the areas anymore when I moved to Atlanta because COVID was here. And so This was a forum where everybody can get together. And now it's led to us being able to connect, meet with each other, and many other people joining. So that's an amazing tip. Get out, find a networking group, and start meeting with others that have the same mindset to keep you going. But getting back to this duplex. Okay, so you closed on it the same day as you graduated, which is an amazing story, by the way. And I guess what was some of the emotions that you had even prior to closing? Because there's some people that get nervous about this. I'm working with a couple of clients and things of that nature that are going to be first-time home buyers or first-time investment buyers. What helped you get over some of those fears and really move into it?
Oh, that's a great point, man. Yes, I definitely remember trying to do it. And, while I was going through literally at the same time, like that same semester, I was taking maybe 20 credits in school. And I was graduating, making final presentations, final whatever reports, all this stuff that I was doing. So I was doing a lot of multitasking, that last semester. In addition, I was looking for a job, right? I was looking for a full-time role after college. So I was traveling literally every month, twice every month. I was in different cities traveling to make sure I get a job, right? Interviewing and all these things for different companies. So I was definitely like I was very anxious about like getting to the property. But one thing that moved me forward was just the knowledge, just having enough enough to understand what's going on, but enough to be able to not like fully understand the whole thing, but enough to be able to say, okay, I understand this part. Maybe I can ask more questions about this part. Right. And that was what I was doing. So the whole process, I had this realtor. So I didn't have a realtor on my end to look for the property for me, but I had a realtor. I mean, obviously, like I said, I met the person at the meetup, and he said he wanted to sell it, but that person decided to use a realtor. So I met up with that person's realtor, the seller's agent, and basically sat down with this guy, and he broke down the whole process, right? So definitely, like when it comes to being a realtor, like you guys, you guys are so important because you guys serve and help people, and you don't even realize how important your role is, right? Because for me, that was like a big deal because he literally sat me down and we went over like everything in the paperwork, right? Everything, like, oh, this is what it means. Some of the questions that I mean, obviously I was wholesaling, I understood some things, but that next knowledge about closing, everything I need to know before closing, he broke it down for me. And that was big. That was really big. And from there, I felt a lot more confident. I felt a lot more confident to move forward. So, at that point, I was just waiting for closing after that.
That is awesome. That is awesome. And that's incredible, amazing story. And I kind of want to dive into what happened next, because again, you've done a lot. So after you closed on that property, when was your next investment and how did that one come about?
Good question. Good question. So that was in 2019, December of 2019. So it's right before COVID started, right? 2020, March, February, COVID started, right? And the crazy thing is, I was traveling all around the world, and then I came back around February, March 2020, and COVID started immediately. So, so immediately I was like, okay, I got this place. I was actually a little scared about my tenant, not paying or decide, because immediately, like COVID started like in May or so, the tenant thing came about where, your tenant could literally not pay you. And I started getting, a little terrified about that. But thank God, those tenants, they have like jobs that are like, that didn't get, like they didn't have like restaurant jobs. Like they had like real jobs. Like one of them working for the government, and the other, he was an artist. He's still there till today. I mean, he's an artist, but he had a stable job that was still paying him, that he could go to, and also he could work from home. So when COVID started, immediately he transitioned into working from home, right? Which was a good thing. So he was still getting paid. And for me, yeah, so immediately I got that. That was in 2020. I was just trying to manage it. I was also working as an engineer. And then I realized that at the end of the day, COVID actually was like, it's people expected a crash in 2020. Like real investors expected something to happen between 2018 to 2020. So they were waiting for it, right? So in that mindset, I just got my first property. So I was like, how can I capitalize on what's actually going on right then and there? Because it's 2020. I mean, I didn't know if there was going to be another crash. I didn't know what was going to happen. So I was just like, look, let me capitalize on what's actually happening. So I decided, okay, let me go find another property to exactly probably the same thing or even better to do what I'm doing right now, right? Exactly with it. But this one will be an investment, a straight investment property. So thank God, after a couple of months of searching, I found this 2 units also. To duplex. It was not too far from the way the other one was, right? Not too far. It was like literally like 5 to 7 minutes. And I did that deal with seller financing, right? So the seller financed the whole thing. So the way I approached it, it was crazy because everyone was scared. It was 2020, so it was around August that I found the deal. But everyone was scared. Even the seller was scared about selling because at that point, they were looking at like, hey, they don't, like, everyone's just scared about the market. It's 2020, like nobody knows what's going to happen, right? So I talked to the guy. I was the first person. Immediately, the property I found it. By the way, I found it on Zillow, right on market. It was a for sale by owner, and I was like, okay. Immediately it came on market. I went. I was the first person to see it. Immediately, because I was like on Zillow every day looking. So first person to see it, I went there. Just came as a regular person, and I was like, look, I'm an investor. I have other properties that I manage, and I was just like, look, I'm looking for something. I'm also a recent grad, so I'm looking for something to start my investment portfolio. So kind of that humbleness, he saw that humbleness in me, and also the fact that I'm grinding, I'm ready to go, right? So it was like, yeah, all right, we did it. So we negotiated on the terms and all this stuff for the seller finance, how the payment was gonna happen, how long, and it was a 3-year payment period, and that was it. Did the deal, and then we closed in September. We closed in September, yes.
Nice, nice. And the cool thing, and one of the things that you mentioned right there, and I definitely want to dive into some of the details about the seller financing because that is genius. But as you are in this game, the longer you're in specifically the real estate game, you can start to see the ebbs and flows, right? And what you mentioned happened in 2020 was the world shut down, people got nervous, and all of a sudden there was a pause on everything. Everybody's like, hey, we should stop buying. When people get nervous, they tend to freeze, right? If you're walking in the middle of the night down the street and you hear a loud noise, you probably don't go running toward it, right? You probably just pause for a second, take a look around, and then you realize like, hey, am I safe or not? The same thing happened from a real estate perspective, and it was an opportune time. Now looking back in hindsight to jump in and grab some of these properties. I can tell you that in 2020, I bought about 6 units in Louisville, and I'm happy I bought those now because they've appreciated significantly. And it's so opportune time that you mentioned this right now, because I feel like we're in a situation like that right now, right? Real estate prices are still rising, but the Fed a little over a week ago just raised the interest rates by 0.75. And so there's been almost like a slight pause, and it's giving you an opportunity to jump in as a buyer and try to get something because they're going to continue to raise it. So it's going to be higher than it is now, but people don't realize that. And sellers are freaking out a little bit too, and potentially willing to work with you. So that's a good piece that you were able to take advantage of Abdul.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's that saying that Warren Buffett says, when people are greedy, when the market is greedy, you find the opportunities. I think that's how I said. And then when the opportunities are there, you be greedy. Like just opposite, pretty much. Like basically just saying that when everyone is going towards the fancy stuff, that's when you should question it. And when everyone is running away, that's when you should go towards it, basically.
Absolutely. It's zigging when everyone's zagging. And it's hard to do that because human nature is to say, hey, interest rates are going up, let me just pull back. But for me, I'm moving full speed ahead. Like, hey, if BlackRock is buying up everything and all these hedge funds, I need to get a piece too. And so switching gears a little bit, we can talk about the real estate and kind of how you got into it all day, but there's a couple other pieces that I really want to dive into. First and foremost, when and how did you get into credit repair and wealth consulting?
Oh man, good question. So pretty much while COVID was, on its highs, and what that property that I acquired through seller financing, I realized that it later, after I acquired it, it had some repairs issues that I didn't foresee, right? Specifically. But I was like okay with it because one, it's an investment property. I was gonna write the repairs off, right? That part. And then just the fact that at that point in time, I didn't foresee it, but I was okay. I had a job which was bringing in consistent capital for me to be able to take care of that repair. So it was okay for me, right? Now, getting into like how I got into credit and all this stuff, pretty much while I was going through that process of the repairs and things, I was thinking about, okay, how can I add an additional income to my current source of income? Because obviously rental income is great, is good, but having something also on the side outside of my regular job engineering that can bring me extra income, that was the mindset over there. So I just thought about, okay, something I already know how to do. I'm already helping people do that, right? I should just make it a business. So that's when I got into credit and, I started getting into helping people as a financial consultant.
I love it. I love it because you leaned into one of your passions and something that you were already doing and doing well, and were able to turn that into another stream of income. And they say that, millionaires on average have about 7 streams of income. So you've got to keep stacking them up, right? Like I can tell you my passion's real estate. So I got my realtor license, right? And then we still got the W-2 piece, but then you also have some short-term rentals and management. So it's good to start stacking those streams of income. And if you can find some that are adjacent to your passions, it's only going to allow you to excel. And so from a financial coaching perspective, what are some of the tips? I know each client's different, but what are some of the tips and tricks that you can give to the audience and to the people on the line to help their financial situation overall?
Gotcha. From a financial standpoint, I would say just understanding how the banks, the structure of the United States as a business and how the banks play a role is very important for everyone to know. Or just understanding how the bank works. So for me, that's where most of my findings stem from, right? Just understanding if the bank is literally running the state, like the bank is is in partnership with the Federal Reserve or the United States specifically. If you think about it as a business, they're literally in partnership. So the question is, how does the bank work, and how can you do that? How can you do what the bank is doing for yourself to make extra money, right? To do whatever they're doing with their money to basically print more money, because bank, they have the most money. They're investing in all the things that you can think of, right? So how can you be the bank? That was where my question stemmed from.
Yeah, and that's fair. And literally what you're saying makes a lot of sense. This is what the millionaires think, right? Is, hey, how can I align myself with the bank, with the government? And to that point, even when you start to look at things like taxes, right? There's certain incentives within the tax code that are geared toward those that are investing in real estate, that are creating jobs, that have businesses and things of that nature. And when you really start to understand the game, now you can learn how to play it and then learn how to master it to where you can become the one kind of directing your efforts in the way that they should go. And I have 2 other things that I wanted to touch on here before opening it up to the group to ask questions, because I know there's going to be a lot of comments and questions for you. One, when we were talking a little bit before, you mentioned a new project that you're getting ready to take on. It was something like a multi-unit in Baltimore.
Oh yeah. yeah. So pretty much I've been looking at this multi-units, over 21 units in Baltimore. It's literally not far. It's 5 minutes from where my properties are. So I've been looking at it. It's something that I'm not closed on or anything. It's not on contract yet, but I'm definitely right now. Just when everyone is running, you go in. So I'm going all in on construction and really finding where I can add value in any when it comes to real estate. So right now, any property that I see that's multi-unit that needs work, I'm going in and going hard, trying to get in. Yeah.
Absolutely. And literally it's again kind of like 2020. This is a time where people are pausing. And I, like you, am moving fast too. I just partnered with my realtor out in Louisville, and we actually have 11 acres under contract right now. We're going through our due diligence period, and we have plans to build some self-storage and then some multifamily units on there. So right now we're trying to make sure the land's good, make sure the city's cool with what we're trying to do. So stay tuned. We'll figure that out over the next couple of weeks, but super excited about that. We were able to talk to this owner for about 5 months and then finally get it under contract. So it took a while, but Abdul, if you stick to it, you can get it.
Absolutely, man. I'm trying to be like you, man. I'm trying to be like you.
Come on now. Hey, we got to hustle for it. We got to hustle. And the last question from me before opening it up to the group is, with the big goals that you have for 2022, right? We're about midway through the year. What can the listeners or the group that's on the line right now do to help you achieve some of your goals for 22?
Oh, that's good. Specifically, I would like to partner. I would like to partner up with anyone that is that's into real estate or that wants to get into it, to actually go through the process of rehabbing and having a full property, a multi-unit or a single family unit. Yeah. So that's my goal. And for anyone that is interested, that would like to learn, that's something that I'm also, looking to walk someone through that process with myself.
I love that. I love that. And is it specifically in your DC, Maryland, Baltimore region, or anywhere in the country?
No, honestly, it's anywhere right now. I'm not looking specifically in DC, but I mean, obviously, I'm definitely keeping my eyes here. But if I find something in other markets that is great, good value, I'm ready to push on it. I'm ready to push on it.
Abdul, we're definitely going to be connecting offline about Atlanta because it's an amazing market. And we'll talk through that. But let's go ahead.
We'll talk.
We'll connect. We'll connect. But let's go ahead and open it up to the group. Please feel free to ask any questions of Abdul regarding anything we went over or anything that's on your mind.
Hey, I do have a question.
Hey, Monica.
Hey.
Hi, so my name is Monica Soyemi. I'm a realtor here in New York City, and I just purchased a property in Chicago. So I'm doing a renovation there. But my question for you is, you said you've done construction loans before. Is that right? Have you done like a ground up? No, have you ever done a ground up anything?
Oh, no. I've not done a ground up full construction, no.
Okay. Gotcha. Because I'm not sure if there's any other listeners on the call now who have done construction, but just purchased some land here at an auction up here in New York. And the land was really affordable. I mean, nothing in New York City is affordable. So just considering building now. So you've done a 203K loan or maybe a hard money loan?
Yeah, no. So in regards to hard money, I have partners that are ready to work with me. I've not done a full one, just being transparent. But like recently, like I got approved for a certain amount, and I know, okay, once I'm ready, like I find a deal, it's good to go. I've not done it though yet. Okay.
And Monica, to add on to that, so I've done hard money as well as the construction loan, which is what we're doing for the 11 acres. And what I would advise is if you could find a local bank that knows that area, that's who you want to partner with. We found a local bank in Louisville. I think it's called People's Bank. My realtor down there is really the expert in the area. That's why I'm partnering with her. But we're doing a construction loan where we're able to put down 20% of the purchase price and the rehab. So the purchase price for those 11 acres is roughly $533, right around that, maybe $535. And we think it's going to take about $500,000 to $700 to build these self-storage units. So my realtor and I are going to put down 20%. We're going to split that, put down 20% to take down that piece, get the land, build the self-storage. And while the self-storage is getting built, we're going to figure out how to do a syndicate the right way, where it's like friends and family. And then we're going to go out to our investor network and start pulling people in for the multifamily piece. So that's, if you're doing a ground up construction, that's one. If it's a little bit smaller than that, and you may be able to do hard money. The only piece with hard money is the timeline. Hard money typically will give you like 12 months and maybe a 6-month extension, and they're hitting you with fees over and over. Whereas a bank ground up construction loan is a lot more, attainable.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Well, so what do you mean by attainable, if I may ask, like in terms of timeline? So
they're giving us about 2 years, right, to convert that construction loan over to a long-term loan, which is amazing. And we're going to just use that for the first part. So we should be able to get that first part, if everything works out, done by, like March, April timeframe, the self-storage units. And then we could put a mortgage on that, which would eliminate the construction loan. And then we'd pull together the money for we're trying to build like 200 units, but we got to see how many we're allowed to lay out. And we'll get another construction loan for that piece, which will be a longer project. That'll probably take, like 2 years to finish.
That's big. That's big.
Trying, man. Trying. But any other questions from the group? I think I saw something in the chat. Go ahead.
I had one more question. So you're purchasing the 11 acres with your realtor. You're partnering together.
Correct. My realtor lives in Louisville, and she's been talking to me about this opportunity for a while. I feel comfortable with her because I've been investing with her as my realtor for 6 years, and I've seen her career take off and also seen the deals that she's done. She literally owns houses like close to mine, is buying constantly. So this is one where we're like, hey, why don't we go bigger? She's actually also my mentor from a realtor perspective, and it's the reason I joined EXP. But yes, I'm partnered with my realtor on this, the first deal that we're partnering with down there.
Ooh, that's amazing.
Yeah, I think we should talk about how to also put together partnerships, because I think there is, like, even Abdul was sharing that he's interested in partnering, but there's a lot of not skepticism, but there's a lot to know when partnering. You know, what is the end result with this? Are we looking to sell it? Are we looking to keep it? How do we split the proceeds or the profit of the business? Are we forming an LLC together? Like,
Yeah. And so I'm going to answer that and I'm going to kick a question over to Abdul. But yes, so partnerships are hugely important. I would highly recommend putting everything on paper, right? You definitely need to have a lawyer look these things over. This is not the first partnership I entered into, so I kind of had an idea of it. We're using an LLC to form this because it's a lot less, it's easier to do, right? With an LLC, you can kind of have it spelled out. And if you talk to a lawyer that's local to that area, if it's New York, talk to a lawyer, and they're going to have these boilerplate templates that they can give you for partnerships. Typically, there's two ways to do an LLC. There's a member-owned LLC where it's split up evenly among the members, and all the members have to kind of come to an agreement on everything. And then there's a manager-managed LLC, which I prefer, and a lot of lawyers will tell you they prefer as well, because it allows you to point to somebody. It doesn't even have to be somebody within the LLC and say this person is the manager, and they can kind of sign on behalf of the LLC. So we went with that. As far as some of the things you want to make sure are in that agreement, to your point, we could have completely different game plans, right? I could be like, hey, this is going to be an amazing flip. I'm going to take that cash and go retire on the beach. And she could be like, hey, I want to see that cash flow and kind of build this thing and hang on to it for 20 years. And so one of the things that you can do to help protect against that is open lines of communication, right? Like literally, we sat down with the legal team after we got the property under contract and we walked through the whole operating agreement and we asked questions and we said, hey, what about this? What about this scenario? And they were able to help us out with it. And what we settled on is, yes, we both want to keep this property. We think this is going to be an amazing property 5 years from now. It's one of those, invest now and then kind of reap the benefits later. But if something happens to my situation or her situation between then, you may want to get out. And so within the agreement, we have a 5-year timeline. We have December 31st of 2028 marked as a date where if we do not both agree to continue in the partnership, then the one person, we either have to sell the property together or the other partner that still wants to continue has to buy the other one out at the price that it's worth. Exactly. And so we put that in there just to make sure that when we get to that point, we can say, hey, we're still aligned without hurting each other's feelings or anything like that. Or if my situation's changed, her situation's changed, she can say, hey, I really need to sell and get out. So unless we both agree to move forward, it's going to be an automatic sell in that time frame. Did that help?
It helped me.
Hey, come on now. Cool. Cool. And we could definitely take that further. Abdul, question for you. It came from the comments. How long did it take you to get comfortable going into each of these different deals? Like you're talking about going for a 21 unit now. You went for that duplex and then another duplex. How long did it take you to get comfortable really going after these deals?
After the first one. So after that first one, I realized, and really it was my realtor, right? I realized that this thing is not that big. Like, okay, like getting a house is big, but once you simplify it to like steps and like you really understand, okay, these are the things you have to look out for, obviously. Like this has, once you check those lists, okay, is all these things, the roof, is it good? This, is it good? Is plumbing, is every electrical? Like once you check all those lists, you realize that the house it's just like any commodity, right? Like you start thinking like it's just like you buying, a t-shirt or something. But now, it has to do with the banks and all these other things, obviously for the financing. But outside of that, as long as all those things are good, it's like buying a house or buying a new shirt. That's how I started to see it. And now it's just like, okay, I just want more,
And that's huge. That first one is always the hardest, especially the first investment, because it's like, hey, what's going to happen? Is this going to work out? But I like relating it similar to you to like when you went for your first apartment, right? When you first went for your first apartment, you had to fill out all these documents. Hey, they're running my credit. They're asking for this, pay stubs. Like, man, this is kind of a lot. But then after that, I could drop you anywhere and say, hey, you're going to live in this city and you can figure it out. After you get through your first 1 or 2 real estate deals, you start to realize like, hey, this is It's not that bad. Like Abdul said, this is like buying anything else. The only difference with this is it's going to go up in value if you buy it right, and you're going to be able to get some income from it right now. So it's even funner because when you close, it's like, hey, I got money coming back to me now.
Facts, 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 facts. And it's crazy how like from last year, like the market has gone up so much in like 2 years. Like right now, I bet the person like that sold me their property, they're just like, yo, I probably should have kept it. And I appreciate you for telling me that too, because I told you earlier that I was about to sell one of my property, and I was like, no, actually, we talked about it, right? And now it's like, yo, like just get more of these things, increase cash flow, and you'll be fine. Like you'll literally be fine as long as your tenants are still paying, you know?